delegates! If you're watching this video, it means that you are going to be representing a country and in the UNEP, or UN Environment Program Committee, at the 2013 Model United Nations Conference in New Delhi. My name is Caroline Asiala. I'm a third-year student here at Alma College, which is a small college in Michigan. And I'm studying environmental health, and I'm really excited to be working with you next month. I'm sure everyone has been working really hard to prepare for our topic, desertification and water scarcity. The purpose of this video is to help you in your pursuit for materials that will be helpful during conference. So where do we begin? The best place to start your research is your background guide. You will want to read actively, meaning that you will want to highlight what you think is important and make notes in the margins. Personally, my favorite way to make notes is to write myself questions in the margins, research questions. For example, the guide starts out with a brief introduction of the UNEP, and it has a list of 6 substantive divisions. By this list, I wrote what is the UNEP's budget and how is the budget allocated to the different divisions. Answering these questions will help you understand the UNEP's areas of focus and what capacity it has to address the different issues under its mandate. Once you've read and annotated the entire background guide, you should have a list of notes or questions on which to base the rest of your research. I suggest splitting the research into 3 phases. The first one is identify the problem. The second, identify what is currently being done or what has been done in the past to address that problem. And the third is to identify what could be changed about how the global community addresses that problem. And my number 1 piece of advice is to always be specific. Most of the questions I wrote in the margins start with the word who or how. Your guide puts a lot of emphasis on national policies. For example, it refers to policies leading to unsustainable resource use. The important questions here to ask is who has these policies and how can they be changed? So number 1, identifying the problem. What is desertification? Desertification is defined by the UN Convention to Combat Desertification as land degradation in arid, semi-arid, and dry subhumid areas resulting from various factors, including climatic variations and human activities. Land degradation is then defined as the reduction or loss of the biological or economic productivity of dry lands. So now that you know what it is or what it's defined as, you have to answer this question. Why is it a problem? Why should we care? What and who does it affect? The background guide does an excellent job of laying out this problem in really general terms, but now your job is to find out what those terms are specifically. So you will be researching what the cause of this problem is and specifically what the extent and magnitude of it is. Find specific statistics. For example, according to UNESCO, 24 billion tons of fertile soil disappear annually due to desertification. Find regional and statewide statistics related to desertification as it affects the country you are representing. These statistics should be the most up-to-date you can find, especially because a lot of new research is being done currently on climate change. As a general rule, use only statistics that have been published in the last 3 years. But where to find this statistical information? Start with UN agencies' websites, the UNEP, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the UN Development Program, UN Water, and the International Fund for Agricultural Development. All of these UN bodies will have reports, information, or other sources of data that you can access online. The second phase is to research what is being done or what has been done in the past to address your issue. In this phase of research, you will want to look up what the UN, and specifically the UNEP, has done to combat desertification. Make yourself a list of all related UN bodies or agencies that deal with desertification and water scarcity. When were they founded and for what purpose or purposes? Find specific programs that are offered through the UN, what they do, and what resources they use to do them. Next, find any and all resolutions and international or regional agreements about desertification written in the last few years. What is the UN Convention to combat desertification? What were the outcomes of that convention, and what has happened with it recently? Are there other important conventions? Then find out what your country is doing, if anything, to address water scarcity and desertification. Then you'll make a list of non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, that work to combat desertification and provide fresh water in developing regions. These organizations can help you with statistical information and programs of work on which you can base recommendations. Your third phase of research will be making recommendations on how to improve the way the international community addresses the issues of desertification and water scarcity. In the second step, you will have learned about different programs available through governments, UN agencies, and NGOs. In this final step, you will need to look more closely at these programs and learn which aspects made the program successful and which did not. The aspects that made a project successful should be repeated. This way of analyzing programs is often referred to as best practices solutions. You will want to have a list of recommended best practices to incorporate in your document at the conference. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me at asiala1cm@alma.edu.